Hey everybody, and happy Friday. Uh, Usually Friday for us is usually something that is happy, and I wish it was happy for our country and our world today, but there's so much going on that it's hard to be happy, and I understand that. I feel it myself, and that's why I wanted to do this video, because I've been observing other people's posts and their videos or their comments, and it just made me, kind of a little bit a lot of emotions, like kind of like a depressed, like most of us are, kind of like confused, don't know really what's going on. We've never experienced this in our lifetime. No one can say that they've experienced this in their lifetime. This is the worst I've seen in my life, and when we are basically forced to be in lockdown in your own homes, kind of like your own prison, and for months. I know I can speak for my state and myself. I've been in for over 3 months now, because one reason was because my dad, who I'm taking care of, he got sick, but I got sick in December, and the doctors called it at the time a super virus. And I had the hacking cough. I mean, it was from December 21st all the way till like almost February, and I was like just miserable. And the doctor said, Joe, you have the super virus, and no flu shot, mind you, will work or prevent it. Thank you, government, or that offering that free flu shot. That was pretty much worthless. One of my friends, who's a nurse, she also had like symptoms as me, and we got sick at the same time. And she even said that there was something, I don't know if it's Tamiflu, I'm probably way off on it, but something that wouldn't even help it. And the doctor also said it will linger and you are susceptible of getting it again. So needless to say, after I got sick, my dad got sick, and it was a little bit more serious because he's 78 years old, and 78, yeah, 78 years old. But he had developed pneumonia, and it was serious. And people that age, their immune system is not as strong, so it's kind of a little more difficult, to heal or to get better. And then we had that media virus, I call it, my opinion, that came up, and the scare and the fear mongering happening, and you got to stay in your house, you got to wear a mask, and I did all that. Okay, I did it for at least 3 months, and that's why I did it. I complied. I don't know if I wasn't taking care of my dad and he wasn't sick, I don't know if I would have complied, to be honest with you, as much. I worry about other people's health. I'm not a selfish person, and that's why most of us did that, and complied. But today I'm feeling like kind of disappointed a little bit in myself, because that's not like me. I'm not a follower. Okay? People who truly know me, friends or family, they know that I am not a follower, and I try to be a leader in things. And like I usually tell people, I'm a leader of man, but a follower of Christ. Doesn't mean that I'm leading and controlling every man and woman or human. It's just that I choose to be a leader in things. I'm not as a follower. I don't follow, too easily. And I can't be controlled either. Or easily either. But my point is I feel like I've been just like one of the sheep. Like we've been led astray. That's for dang straight, dang sure. That we, as Americans and humans around the world, we have been told to stay in our houses, locked down. Everything's closed down. The panic. That's why I call it the media virus, because the media is the one who made this into a pandemic, or I would call it a dem panic, or just the fear mongering alone. That's why people, adults, I saw a video of people going to Costco or going to Sam's Club or going to the store, adults, mind you, and the store opens and they're racing with their carts around, trying to look for toilet paper, trying to score on toilet paper. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, these are adults? This isn't America, We're not supposed to live our lives in fear. We're the most country that is about freedom. And that's why people flourish or want to come here, and risk their lives just to get here, because the freedom and the opportunity. So it just hasn't felt like America lately. It's sad. It's really sad. And I've just had my, what I call a petty party, where it's just something petty, but it's just something that started bothering me after these 3 months of being quarantined or locked down in your own prison. But like I said, I did it for my dad, and I'm thankful to God that we were able to avoid it for the most part. We were sick early in December or January, but we survived through the whole scare. And in my opinion, because I have a lot of opinions, this thing is like twofold. Okay, no, threefold, maybe even fourfold, where I believe it originated from Wuhan laboratory. There is credible information out there that there was funding by the past embarrassment or past administration that funded $3 million towards the Wuhan laboratory specifically, and then Bill Gates gave, I think, $1 million or more, and then George Soros gave millions towards it. So I believe, this is just my opinion, okay? You can have your opinion. That's a great thing about America still. We have freedom of opinion, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all the Bill of Rights, and our constitutional rights. But I'm like, I don't, I don't get it, but it makes sense, and dots are starting to connect with the Wuhan lab, which I believe it was man-made virus that was going to be spread as a biochemical weapon, from China, but it was politically also, I believe, because what are we doing right now? This is all political. This is all to, in my opinion, make President Trump look bad. You can have your opinion, but my opinion, because what have they done? We had the best economy that I've ever experienced in the stock market. I watch it daily like a hawk, and I've seen how the Dow Industrial, Dow Jones Industrial stock went up 10,000 points since President Trump has been in office. The S&P has shown records as much as Dow Jones. NASDAQ has shown records. And we had the highest economy. We had the lowest unemployment ever, of course, in the black and the Mexicans, race, if you want to call it that, or label it as that everything was just great. Just like President Trump said, he's going to make America great again. And he did. We had the greatest, economy, greatest unemployment. Military was stronger than any other country again. Everything was going great. But then you got to have what I call, and I'm sure you've heard before, false flag or wag the dog. If you ever watch that movie, interesting movie. It depicted when President Slick Willie Bill Clinton was president at the time, and it's about him and false flag, where if there's some political agenda or some elections coming up, distract, just the people and have a war or something, or have a virus that will cripple your country, and hurt your economy. So that's what I believe, okay? That's one part of it. The second part is I believe that it did spread because China is so polluted. They've got the worst pollution in the world. They wear masks all the time. If you see them on the news or TV, before this media virus and this, dem panic started, where we just, China, we just believed about this. First, it was an anteater. That was the first thing. Then it's a bat. Okay? Then it's the market where they have live animals and they kill them right there and chop them up and sell them to customers, So all that can definitely, especially the market thing, and it's unsanitary. It's not healthy at all. They don't have health departments like we do in America, and restrictions and guidelines that we have to go by. So I believe that part of it, spread, okay? But the timing with the man-made virus, I believe that. Because why would they pump so much money into one laboratory in the world, and it's Wuhan laboratory? The other thing is, and this is important, it's something that I just found out, and a revelation came upon me, and it's been hard to stay grounded about it and humble because I'm so excited and I'm so thankful to God. But try to keep an open mind here, but it makes sense. If you know what a wastewater treatment plant is, a wastewater treatment plant is where all our sewage sludge goes, which the pretty name they call it, is biosolids. And I 100% believe, because just recently through my company, Odor One Composting Solutions, that I've been secretly working on, patented invention along with my dad. We stumbled upon how to detect the coronavirus or any virus, because there are billions and billions of bad organisms in our sewage sludge. It just is. Like I don't know how else to put it, shit, it's bad. It has so many pathogens. It has viruses in it. But there was a university, Harvard and MIT and biotech lab, that we done some research recently, and they detected it in the wastewater treatment plants. Now try to keep with me here, okay? I know it's confusing, but it makes perfect sense to me because I've been researching this for years. I've been quietly, because what Odor One Composting Solution, it basically deals with wastewater treatment plants, where we can compost the waste. We can compost yard waste and food waste, normal things as well, but wastewater treatment plants, that is the key. And we stumbled upon it, and we're in discussions with high officials right now and telling them that if you want to detect it ahead of time, if you want a warning, and you don't want to rely on China or any other country or our own government along that matter, test the sewage sludge. It makes perfect sense. Now let me try to explain it so it makes a little bit more sense, okay? When you detect it, you have to treat it. And what we are doing now today, our municipalities, okay, all the wastewater treatment plants, there is 60,000 wastewater treatment plants in the United States right now. In every municipality, every city, every county, township, whatever. They're all over. Same thing around the world. That's why I believe it spread this fast from the wastewater treatment plant. Okay? Now, the municipalities today, just to save money, but also to help the farmers, they are taking the sewage sludge, okay, and they are loading it in semi-tankers, and they are transporting it to farms, and then they are dumping it raw on the farmland, their crops. Now try to wrap that around your head. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling, and I can't believe that the municipalities do this. It is against the law. If we were to do it, we would be heavily fined or even have jail time, because it is dangerous. It has pathogens. Pathogens are not good. It has viruses in it. It has bacteria. It has fungi. It has everything. I've done the tests and the data, and this is how I come to this conclusion and how I've connected all the dots. But this virus, that's going on, it's spreading through our wastewater treatment plants. And when they take this sewage sludge, these biosolids, and they spread it on farmland raw. So you can just only guess or assume where is all the pathogens going? Where is all the viruses that are in it, the bacteria, the bad organisms? It's going right into the soil. It's going right into our food crops. So we're consuming it. Did you hear me? We are consuming it. It's a vicious cycle that goes around and around, okay? I explained the beginning cycle, okay? We go to the bathroom, okay? When we go to the bathroom, it's all goes through the sewer and it goes to the wastewater treatment plants. All the sewage sludge, it's there. They don't treat it. They take it raw and they spread it on the farmland, where farmers then grow crops, of course, vegetables, and then they sell it to grocery stores, or they sell it to markets or whatever, or the public at these farmers markets. It's just crazy. It's insane. But it's a vicious cycle, and we consume it. And then when we consume it, we've got all the bad pathogens in us. We've got all those bad organisms. And yes, viruses, coronaviruses. And then what do? After a while, you excrete the vegetables or the food that you ate, that was from the farmland. And then it goes back in the wastewater treatment plant again. And it's a vicious cycle. Now, the flu season. It is usually when it's cold, right? It's usually when it's cold. And because through research again, and just a lot of testing, that the flu, the coronavirus especially, I'm sure you heard this. Maybe you didn't. You need to get informed. Stay informed. But the coronavirus thrives on the cold temperatures. That's why it basically lives like in your nasal cavity, because it's the coldest spot in your body. Our body heat 98.7 whatever degrees. Your nasal cavity is just cooler, so it lives there. It sets up home, or just lives there. And when it's the cold season, okay, when the weather is cold in the winter, that's when it thrives. Then when it's summer and it's warmer temperatures, the viruses usually just die off. So that's where, amazingly, that's where Odor One Composting Solutions patented process and invention comes in handy. It's just amazing. I've been secretly working on this for a while. It has not been easy. It's been stressful. I've had to deal with municipalities, politicians, the mafia, because the garbage industry, the mafia runs it. Okay, let's be honest. And I'm doing this video and I'm being totally brutally honest because I want to inform people. I want to let people know, what's going on while they're going on their regular day, that they realize what is actually taking place. But I am certain that some of the coronavirus and it spread so fast because of the wastewater treatment plants around the world. They have coronavirus. They are, it's like contaminated. And like I said, the vicious cycle. It goes right into our food supply, right in our food chain. It's sickening, because why do we have cancer that's more prevalent than ever? Why is Asperger's more prevalent than ever? Why is autism more prevalent than ever? Why is Alzheimer's more prevalent than ever? Dementia more prevalent than ever. I truly believe it's because what we consume in our bodies. It makes perfect sense if you have an open mind and if you have common sense, because that's what you need. You need common sense to connect the dots, okay? I'm sure some of you didn't even know what a wastewater treatment plant was, but that's what it is. And it happens every day, but it's being done improperly. And with my concept that I am introducing, and it's just moving fast, and Odor One Composting Solution is going to go global faster than I thought it would. I knew it would always go global because there was such a need and demand on how to compost without odors. That's what the whole patent and the nucleus of the invention is, where we're set apart from any other composting facility. So, and then we can compost from 9 to 15 days, which is unheard of. If we did in our backyard, average it's 6 months. I've been to composting facilities all over, and there's some that had 2 years it took them, 3, all the way up to 4 years, because they would just let it sit there and rot, which isn't properly done. I know this is a lot to take in, and it's probably so confusing. I just felt led to share this, okay? Because there's a lot of question marks. There's like, what? How did this happen? What's going on? What are they doing about it? And this is where Odor One Composting Solutions is going to just shine and thrive and be able to offer the community and our environment, the world. This is what I am passionate about, and money makes the world go round, but it's just being able to help the community, help save the taxpayers' money, help people's health, help the environment, the atmosphere, help the world. That's what makes it worthwhile. And we are coming to fruition and coming around to just that moment where it's just exciting. I'm so thankful to God because it's all in His timing. And trust me, I'm human. But I was stressing. I want it now, just like everyone else today in society wants it now. Today everything's quick. Everybody wants it fast. So we got fast food, faster cars, faster internet, faster cell phones. I know I've been sometimes when I'm on my cell phone and there's not a good signal and it doesn't, go on the website right away that I want. I'd be like, what's going on? It's because we've all been just used to, everything faster. So, it's just, I was impatient. I said, I want this now. I want this now for the world. There's a huge need and demand, obviously, especially with the wastewater treatment plants, like I just explained to you. But it was all in God's timing. And one thing that God showed me through praying fervently, at least 3 times a day, meditating, just seeking God and just His wisdom and praying for strength and energy to continue. And I realized that it's not in my timing. You hear me? It's not in our timing. It's in God's timing. He's the master planner. He's got your whole life already figured out for you. But we have to go through this thing we call life and journey in our life to fulfill everything or meet everything, before it's our time, but it's just so exciting. And I'm so thankful to God. And if our world learned patience and exhibited every day, we would have a more harmonious, just loving, not stressful, not pressured world. Like we're living today. It's chaotic. People are worried about their lives. People are worried just about what's going to happen next. There's theories out there after theories, and trust me, I have my own. But if we just exhibited patience, because when God showed me that, things didn't seem as bad. You could cope with it. You could manage. You can get by. And give him all the praise, glory, and honor. But there's one other thing that he shared me, and I've shared with people who are struggling or having difficulties, and it's one thing a while ago when I was going through this struggle. I'm dealing with, like I said, bad people, mafia, waste management. They are the mafia. It's a big front to make billions of dollars through the garbage industry. You can write it off. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you, okay? So I've politicians, crooked politicians. I can guarantee you, I can say right now, the government doesn't give a shit or a damn about the environment. Because I have, exhaustively explained to them, done presentations, given tours, gone to conventions, talked to senators, congressmen, politicians, big corporations, and they just like the status quo. They don't care about the environment. They don't care if sewage sludge is getting dumped raw on our farmland. They don't care about the water, that is being contaminated. Our lakes, rivers, oceans, they just care about the money. They're the ones that are money hungry, greedy, and it's all about power and control. And that's where our founding fathers, probably turning in their grave today because how government has turned it around. Where government's supposed to be our employers. Amen? That's how it's supposed to be. Okay? No. Excuse me. I got too excited there. Employees. We, the people, the Americans, we are the employers. That's how it's supposed to be. But somewhere, centuries ago, someone thought, wow, we got a lot of control here, or we could we could turn this around and we'll be the employers, we'll be the bosses, and they've got to answer to us and pay taxes and, and just comply to everything we want them to do. And that's when things went down, and now we are to where we are today. But I just want to let you know that this coronavirus, okay, part of it, yes, is political. Because I believe, in my opinion, politicians see this as an opportunity because it's election year, okay? It seemed like Armageddon. I know people have commented on it before. It does feel like Armageddon. I will agree with you on that. Because there's tragedy after tragedy and trial after trial and tribulation after tribulation. It just, what did we start out with? First, to make President Trump look bad, okay? It's no secret that I support President Trump. Why? Because I have common sense. And especially, I have business sense, just like President Trump. So I see his agenda. I see, his strategy. That's what we needed, is a businessman. And I believe he was the chosen one because we needed a businessman. We didn't need a career politician anymore because that hasn't worked for decades that I know of, or in my lifetime. That we needed someone who could build the economy up, who could build jobs and bring jobs back, and manufacturing jobs that were told to him, by the past embarrassment, blah, blah, that well, you'll never get more than 1% in manufacturing jobs, And here he gets 4%. And it was climbing, but then we had the corona or the media virus, and then things went down. But thank God, and like I've told people when they thought I was crazy at the time, when the stock market was going down and we lost everything that we gained, and the unemployment skyrocketed, 40 million without a job and all that, I said, it's going to bounce back. I put my faith in President Trump as much as I put in God, because I believe he was put in that place for a reason, and the economy is already bouncing back because jobs are coming back. Companies are opening up again. That's why the solution is not to lock down everything, okay? And while I'm on my soapbox or whatever, my personal governor, or she's not my governor. I didn't vote for her. I don't know how she got into office. I can have my assumptions and my opinions, but out of all the states and around the world, along that matter, there was executive orders that were being signed, and then she comes on and tries to attempt to explain, but can't answer any questions. Answers a question with a question, or something, that sounds like an answer turned into a question. I mean, it was ridiculous, man. It was pathetic. That's why I can't follow that. I have too much common sense and too much logic and too much business sense. It just doesn't make sense, period. Our state alone is a manufacturing state, okay? We are known around the world, as a motor city. I'm sure you knew that. I hope you knew that. The big three, okay? I believe that our state is like third in agricultural too. We are a big farming state. And just manufacturing, like tool and die, and for the big three, there's so many companies, and people rely on us. So when you close everything down, then of course it's going to affect our economy. Of course it's going to, unemployment's going to, go up and skyrocket. But it was too long. 3 months, too long. And it affected us, but we're going to bounce back. Michigan does, and our country does, for that matter. But this whole media virus and this dem panic, it didn't have to go this long. And like I said, the executive orders in our state alone were absurd. Now, some people might disagree with me, and they have, and that's great. But I know what she has said, okay, because I have sometimes listened to her, and, was like, oh my gosh, and just try and hold my lunch down. But when you ban, cutting grass, now somebody will be, and they have, that was only for the landscapers. That was only for the businesses and companies. No. Because I got a video, and I'm glad to share it, that there is a private citizen that was cutting his grass. I can't remember. I don't know if it was Illinois, somewhere, that he was ticketed. He was ticketed because he was cutting his grass on his private property. Now, does that make any sense? And he, I think, was even arrested, because that's why it made, news or it went viral because he couldn't believe it either. He was being ticketed for cutting his own grass, and he wasn't complying. Okay, so, but how absurd. I don't care if you're a landscaping business. I don't care if you're a private residence and you want to cut your grass so you don't get a blight ordinance or a nuisance ordinance and then you get fined because of that. You know, it's just ridiculous. And let me sum it up for you, all right? Picture yourself on a rider lawnmower, okay? First of all, there's usually only one person, only one seat. So don't have to worry about that. Social distancing. But who in their right mind would want to get maybe 6 feet, if not more, away from a riding lawnmower that has blades that would cut them to shreds or harm them, seriously harm them? Don't make any sense. And then there was the boating. Why the boating? The boating, you're in the water, you're in the open air, it's good for you, okay? It's good for you to breathe in, the air and to build your immune system. The worst thing to do is stay in your house because ding, 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 you have viruses, you have mold, you have fungi, you have bacteria, you have dust in your house, and you're breathing that with no ventilation. It don't make any sense. So I didn't understand the boating either. And then I surely didn't understand. This is where I got worried. And I was like, this woman, half-wit, or half-wit more, has lost her ever-living mind when they wanted to ban seed, okay? Seedlings. I heard this. Now some people are, no, we never said seedlings, never did this. Never. I'm sorry, but she did. Some people said, well, I was able to buy some. Well, that's great. You must have got it at a greenhouse where they were selling it, behind, half-twits, back or whatever. But I remember going to either Lowe's or Home Depot, Walmart, take your pick, and it was blocked off. And it was said that we cannot garden. Any gardening. I remember hearing that. The thing is, some people have selective hearing. They hear what they want to hear. They will dissect it, just like the fake news media today, and in my opinion, the Democrats, politicians, not the diehard Democrats and those who vote Democrat. I'm talking about the politicians, that they, dissect things and then they'll just put in whatever they want, and people will believe them. But the seeds, that was the last straw. Why don't you want us to grow any seeds or any vegetables or food for ourselves? That is scary. That's not American. That's unconstitutional. And we as Americans, we the people, are allowed lawfully to go and roam freely. And we weren't. And that's what I'm most mad about. I am most mad about that. Because, being locked up for 3 months. And I feel just like one of the sheep, out there. That's not how I am. But like I said, I digress, and it was about my dad and his health and others' health. I did use masks when I went out. I did use gloves in the very beginning. I would use hand sanitizer when I would go, in the store. When I came out of the store, I put hand sanitizer on. I did all the precautionary measures and everything that was asked. But enough is enough. Okay? That's my slogan or my saying that's been for years that I've I've said, and if I was running for an office, that would be my campaign slogan. Enough is enough. Okay? You guys tried everything. You tried the Russia, collusion, delusion, illusion. Okay? You tried the Stormy Daniels thing. Okay? That didn't work either. Kind of backfired on Stormy Daniels because now Stormy Daniels had to pay President Trump hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then her crooked, creepy attorney, Avenatti, he's doing prison time right now. So, nice try. But then there was this investigation. You know. And then the impeachment trials. You know. And they're still, to this day, the Democrats, the politicians are still talking about going through another whole impeachment trial. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is so mind-blowing. It's like, what? I can't wrap that around my head. I just can't. He was exonerated, forever, as nasty Pelosi. He's impeached forever. Yeah, from Congress. It's because you guys are, crooked and you made rules up, against him and where Republicans, couldn't cross-examine the witnesses or it's absurd. So it's just, enough is enough. Americans, citizens have had enough. We don't want to go through this any longer. You've tried everything. After the impeachments, well, impeachments aren't working, so let's try the media virus, the coronavirus. Let's jump on this bandwagon and let's just run with this. Let's scare everybody. Like I said, there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. There's people's own theories and opinions. But I shared mine. I respect yours. To each your own. That's my new saying. To each your own. But yeah, you tried the coronavirus thing. Then you tried the dead hornet thing, which never amounted to anything. Didn't accumulate to nothing. I guess they all died. But then I'm thinking, I think it was like February. Or maybe it was, I think it was March or April. It was still snowing. Okay, and and they are talking about these killer hornets that are coming from China, and it's in the state of Washington right now. I'm thinking to myself, how in the hell are these killer hornets surviving? Great question. I guess they didn't survive because we don't hear about that anymore. Because nobody took it seriously, really. I took it a little bit seriously, but I'm thinking, well, they'll handle it, But it's like killer hornets. Ugh. And that didn't work, So what's next? I wonder, is it going to be flying killer monkeys, like in the Wizard of Oz? Or is it going to be like cloned aliens, or zombies? Zombie apocalypse? Who knows? But there's going to be something. There's going to be a mass tragedy. You watch. Wag the dog. False flag. That movie, Wag the Dog, look it up on Netflix or whatever, and watch it. Because it will make you open your eyes a little bit more and learn about the government and how they operate. So, with that all being said, and I know I've talked a lot, but I've been wanting to talk about this for I don't know how long. If you could just bear with me a little bit more, I just want to talk about today's events, if you want to call it that, tragic events. It's sad what's going on today in this country, this world, but our country alone. I'll speak of and for that this now, like I said, the coronavirus didn't work and people were like, well, I'm not going to listen or comply anymore. I got to work. I got to make a living. No kidding. You know, the politicians, they don't have to worry about that because they get their golden paycheck. Some get more than one. You know, and they get their, salaries, overpaid salaries, in my opinion. So they don't have to worry about it. But there's people that do. So people are just not complying anymore. They're like, I'm going to work. I don't care. Our state governor, Half Whitmer, she keeps extending it. Other states are opening up. Of course, Democratic ones seem not to. I don't know. You try and figure it out. I figured it out, but, just it's pretty obvious. It's political. It's an election year. If this was 2018 or 2016, or even, let's say 2021, we wouldn't have this going on. Trust me. Believe it, because it's true. But the one thing also, I'm going in tangents here, but with the governor, Half-Wit, she still won't allow gyms and hair salons to open up for business. Again, how absurd. And as a citizen, and I'm sure every other citizen in Michigan is wanting to get their hair cut. I want my dang hair cut. I've been wearing a hat, trying to shove my hair in there, and it's just it's crazy. And when I need to conduct business, I can't wear a hat, so I gotta gel it and paste it down and try and control it. But I look like a young Justin Bieber, with my hair it's out of control. I want my hair cut. Open up the hair salons, okay? You can have the abortion clinics open. You can have, the Planned Parenthood, centers open. You can have the marijuana stores and the liquor stores open. You can have the Walmarts and the Targets and so forth, Costco's and Sam's Club, where there are more people that would be like in a hair salon, okay, or a gym. If you do the safe distancing, and the mask and you comply, why not? It does not make any sense, but it is just a control thing, and I'm sure our half-wit, governor is butthurt and upset because there was American patriots who don't agree with your absurd executive orders that they have that constitutional right to go and protest on the Capitol building or Capitol stairs, and you didn't like it. And that's why you wanted to continue, and you made us suffer for it and punished us, and you just continued the lockdown and continued the businesses closed because of that. How pathetic. How pathetic. I don't know who you're trying to impress. You're not impressing the state. Not to the majority of the state. I know there's a few that just don't get it. They just, they can't comprehend it. They can't wrap it around their head or figure it out for themselves. But hey, like I said, to each your own. But I don't understand it at all. You know, those American patriots went there peacefully. There was no riots. Did you notice that, half-wit? But what's going on today? Riots. What's being allowed today? Riots. Are they practicing, all of them, self-distancing? Hell no. Our own Michigan governor is not doing that. The hypocrite that she is, she has gone out to protest, and she's arm in arm, locked, with people, not self-distancing, not practicing self-distancing. How hypocritical. But you're not fooling me. You can fool some people, but I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night, you half-wit. It just upsets me that we are being controlled like this. Americans. I didn't think we'd ever... I had my thoughts sometimes, but I can't believe how we are being controlled as citizens today, and how our rights are being taken away and dissected, and just, slowly just being taken away. And that's, hate to say it, but that's how I believe the Democratic Party and politicians work. And some Republicans and rhinos, okay, just to be fair. But enough is enough. Open our hair salons, open our gyms, open our businesses. Okay, you're not, I don't know who you're trying to impress, but I know you're trying to go for that running mate position as a vice president. But I don't think you have a chance. I think creepy gaff man Joe Biden is going to pick a black female, might be Kamala Harris. Probably she'd be in the, on the top of the list, or even some female, who knows? But it's not going to be Gretchen Whitmer. If it is, I'd be so thankful and praise the Lord. I'd be so happy, because if she becomes a running mate, that will guarantee even more of a bigger landslide that President Trump is going to have, especially in the state of Michigan, because she will not get votes here in Michigan. She's pissed off too many people. She's wronged too many people. She's bankrupt too many people. Businesses, small businesses, and some big ones, that can't open up again. Even if you did take down the executive order and the restrictions and the lockdowns. It's sad. It is really, really sad. But no, and Michigan's a swing state. Newsflash there. Governor half-wit. It's absurd. But with these riots, okay, I wanted to also say that I get the protesting, just like most Americans do. But just like most Americans as well, do not get this rioting. It is just, it's wrong. I don't know how to put it in more layman terms or simpler terms than that, but it's destructive. And you're not going to get your point or your message across if you loot, if you vandalize, if you destroy monuments, historical monuments that have nothing to do with, why was there a church in Washington, D.C., a famous church? Why was that vandalized? You're going about it the wrong way. If you do it peacefully, like the great late Dr. Martin Luther King did, he did things peacefully. He had peaceful protests and peaceful marches. And if he was here today, he would say, stop the hate. because that's what he was all about. He probably is turning over in his grave today. But I wish we had more leaders like that today. Now we've got Al Not So Sharpton, and non-Reverend Jesse Jackson and Louis Farrakhan. They're about hate, and they're about photo ops. Get in the camera, the spotlight. Have you ever noticed at these riots or at these events, whatever it would be, if it would be protesting or Black Lives Matter or whatever, have you noticed that the civil rights activists show up when there's a big crowd and there's cameras? They don't show up in the beginning and say, hey, this is wrong. They show up days later, and that's when they get involved. So don't tell me it's not photo op or some, getting the limelight. Or I'm sure it's absolutely political too, because they always bring up politics and they bash President Trump, of course. But I wonder, when President Trump wasn't president and he was the multi-billionaire real estate tycoon, and he's rubbing elbows with celebrities and politicians, and he's given millions of dollars throughout the years, probably hundreds of millions of dollars throughout the years, to these politicians and these celebrities and all these big dinners and these parties. And I've got pictures, I got video, and they're giving him awards. He got an Ellis Award, as well as while standing next to other recipients of the same award was the other great activist and strong American, who believed in what she believed in, was Rosa Parks. But then Muhammad Ali, he was all about peaceful protesting too. And, President Trump, was accepted then, but it wasn't until then when he came down that escalator at the Trump Tower with the beautiful, first classy lady, in my opinion, Melania Trump, came down together in the escalator, and he announced his run and campaign to be president of the United States. That's when people joked about it. I've got video, they joked, he's never going to make it. But then when he started gaining support and momentum, and the polls were changed, then it was like, bash Trump, ridicule Trump. Trump is bad. That's a fact. If you can't see that, then I can't help you. But that is exactly how it. And then when the Illuminati and the Rockefellers and the Bilderbergers and the Rothschilds, the puppeteers who are pulling the strings and who run the world and the World Bank, when they realize he's running his own campaign, President Trump, he's not using lobbyists or people's money. He's using his own money, which has been unheard of. But when he did that, then they got involved. And they got the media, because they own and control all media stations, all the magazines, all the newspapers. If you haven't heard of the Associated Press, well, they're the ones that control everything, and that's controlled by the Illuminati, the Rothschilds, okay, the puppeteers, the elites. So that's why you have fake news media, okay, and you have them not broadcasting good things that President Trump has done. He's broken down how many records and made history so many times. Executive orders. He's helped the black community. Prison reform. He's helped blacks. That's why he's gaining so much support from the blacks. People were waking up and they're walking away. Hallelujah. They're realizing, hey, I'm not going to be under these Democrats, their control anymore, or under their thumb. Since when Abraham Lincoln, freedom from slavery, some of the Democrats back then, they're like, that's not good. That's not fair. They're taking away our slaves. They're taking away our workers. They're letting them go. They're letting them be citizens. We can't control them then. So what happened? Some might disagree with me. I don't care. It's the facts. And somewhere along the line, people have got to start, listening to the facts, or believing the facts, and not making up your own, theory on it. But that's when citizens, that Democratic, party, they formed a organization, on horses, and they had their, white bed sheets, and they call themselves the Ku Klux Klans, and that's when they tried to control them more, try to put fear in them, kind of like today. Pretty interesting, huh? So that's what's going on, in my opinion. But enough is enough. Open up all the businesses and let President Trump be president. Okay? He earned it. Whether you want to believe it or not about the popular vote, well, there was 2 or 3 million votes that were fraudulent and that were illegal votes and dead votes. So he won, okay? Hillary Rotten Clinton lost. People have got to come to that realization, accept it, because you're not going to change it. You guys have thrown everything plus the kitchen sink at him, and nothing has sticked. Nothing has worked. I mean, look at all the failure. I mean, I wonder if the Democratic politicians, the DNC, is tired of losing. Tired of just an epic failure after epic failure. I give them credit. They're persistent, but they just stick out like a sore thumb to me now. And I got their number, and I know, what they're attempting to do. They have tried. They have tried everything. Like I said, I don't think they're done because it's not November yet. But, yeah, enough is enough. Absolutely enough is enough. Just, we need to start living like Americans again. And we also have got to just stand up for our rights. Absolutely. And, with this racism thing, okay, I want to tell you that I am totally against it. And anybody who knows me, truly knows me, knows I'm not a racist. It's not in my blood. And if I was just call myself a Christian, and the definition of that is to be more like Christ, or be Christ-like, and that's not anything, because Jesus or God is not racist either. He created all of us, okay? We're His creation, whether you want to believe that or not either. But how do you explain birth and the miracle? I rest my case, okay? That's a miracle. Every birth. Something has to breathe life in that thing. And it's not being evolved from cavemen or monkeys or whatever else you can think of. But, yeah, we're all looked at as equal. If you look at our skeletons, they're all the same. Just our skin color is different. So what? You know, there's also animals that are all different. Do we seclude them? Do we, segregate them? Do we try and harm them? Because of their species or because what kind of animal they are? No, absolutely not. So it shouldn't be any different with humans. We've just have allowed through the centuries or as far as back as I can, think of, when people just acted superior over a certain race. And that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. That's not of God. And what does it bring? It brings hatred. It brings separation, segregation. It brings anger. All these things are not about God. Those are all sins and just not, not something that God looks at, in a good way. It's all ugliness, and ugliness is not of God. So I don't understand the racism thing, and some people are probably thinking, oh, you are racist. You have a red and white, hat on, and it says "Make America Great Again." Well, yeah, duh. Because I support my president. That's his slogan. But also, let me clue you in on something. This is a red and white hat, okay? And before President Trump ran for president, that's what it was considered as. You guys are the ones that made this racist. It was not meant to be racist, but you guys and your agenda, or your strategy or whatever perfect plan, you wanted to make it racist. But this is not racist. This is the slogan. It's a red and white hat. And I hear, well, I fear it. I'm scared. It scares me. Of a red and white hat? Like I said, how do we get by with wearing red and white hats for? It's just lettering that was embroidered on it. And it's a slogan. Okay? Like, forward. Remember that? Genius, slogan. Or, countless other slogans. I mean, that politicians create themselves. It's supposed to be catchy. People should remember it. And that's what President Trump did. The genius that he is, and the business-minded person that he is. He's got business sense, common sense, and it worked. Because he got free advertising, free publicity from day one. He played the media. That's maybe why the media is not fair to him, don't like him, hate him. They want to spread fake news about him. They don't want to give him any credit because they were played by him. President Trump used the media as free advertising. The guy spent hardly anything during his campaign. And he's going to do it again this year. And you guys are going to be disappointed again, this year and this election. And I would just say, prepare yourself. Because you guys are creating this. You're creating the same, vicious, cycle, back when Hillary Rotten Clinton was running for president, that it was all about racism. It was all about Trump. My opponent says this. My opponent says that. No platform. no political views or what you're going to do, what you're going to change, how you're going to help, nothing. It was all about Trump, 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 Trump. So the people spoke. Okay, and you guys are butthurt about it. It's your own damn fault. Blame yourselves. Learn from it. Try to learn from it before this new election. Because prepare yourselves. There's the hidden majority back in 2016 that voted for President Trump. There's a bigger hidden majority now. It has grown. Like I said, he has gained black voters, Mexican, Hispanic voters, even some Middle Eastern. I've seen Chaldeans for Trump at rallies because they're business people, and they've come here legally, the right way. Not over the wall, not under the wall, not, a caravan or whatever, but legally. And they took the time, to become American citizens, and they start paying taxes. They start a business. They don't want some illegals coming over here and trying to start a business and then compete with them, because that's not fair. I don't know why it's so hard to not understand that, to not comprehend that, to not wrap that around your brain and figure that out for yourself. I don't know. I just don't get it. It was okay back in the day, like when at the time, Senator Creepy Biden, Joe Biden, he was talking about the walls. Humpty Dumpty Jerry Nadler, he was talking about walls. Even the nasty Pelosi, okay, she was talking about walls back then when it was Slick Willie Bill Clinton that was president. And then when it was blah blah, who was president, then it was okay. Then it was accepted. Now that President Trump is in office, it's a total different thing. It's so hypocritical. That's what I'd call the Democratic Party today, is a hypocritic. I've used that word in the past. I came up with it because hypocrites, and Democrat, and just combine it. They're hypocrites. They are the biggest hypocritical party. They flip-flop. Like I said, last year it was okay, but now this year it's not. And they're totally against it. But there's so many videos. Do your own research. Do your own research, man. There's videos out there that you can watch, for yourself, and see for yourself that they are hypocritical. Back in 1987, they said this, but now 2009, it's different. 99, they said this. Now it's different. It's hypocritical, man. It's pathetic. And enough is enough. One other thing. I want to let you guys know. I am not racist. And anybody who wants to perceive me as racist or call me out as a racist, those are fighting words. Okay? Those are fighting words, because I will have you let you know that I've got family. I've got adorable nephews that are black. Okay? I love them. I care about them just as much as I do my white nieces and nephews or any family member. And what I hate doing, and it's sad that we have to, but we have to address colors. I don't like that. I don't like having to say my black nephew or my white niece or nephew. That is sad. But I am far from racist. People who know me, truly know that I accept everybody. I respect everybody until they give me a reason not to. Especially these days today. In school, I was never like that. I accepted everybody. And any of my friends from school would back me up, I hope, on it, and would say, yes, that was Jason. Jason, he was considered, if you want to label things, as a prep back then. Preppy, okay? Wore preppy clothes, and then was a jock, was in football and wrestling. So I was friends with preps. I was friends with jocks, okay? And the cheerleaders, because they went with the sports. I had friends. I had nerd friends, if you want to label them as that. I had burnout friends back then. Those were the ones who either smoked, at the time, or did drugs or whatever. I didn't care. I looked at just their being, their personality. I looked at them all as human beings. I never judged them. I never would be like, oh, you're black? Oh, I can't associate with you. Or you're a nerd? Oh, please. I'm a prep. I'm a jock. I can't be associated with you or be seen with you. Or a burnout? Oh, my goodness. They will tease me, and they'll laugh at me, and they'll kick me probably out of, the preppy whatever group if I associate with you. No, never, ever, ever. I was not raised like that. The thing is, and the truth, and I'm sure if you guys really listen, you'll agree with me, that racism, you are not born with it. Did you hear me? You were not born with it. It is something that is taught. Right? You hear me? Racism is taught. You are not born like as a baby, like I shared, the miracle from God. You're born. God is not going to instill in you, when you're born, racism. It is something that you're taught. So if you're racist, you learned it from somewhere. Okay? You might have had, grandparents that back in the day, that's what they were taught. And that you just followed it. And then, your parents followed it. And then they taught you it. It's taught. So if people would stop teaching people racism and not just dwelling on that word. I have never heard that R word so much in my lifetime than I have in the past 3.5, 4 years since President Trump has been in office. The Democrats, okay, I will say specifically, the politicians, the Democrats, and the libtard left-wing nuts that they are the ones who push the race issue. They are the ones that have used that race card till it's it's worn out. And it's a shame. But that's what has been used. Everything is about race. Okay? You wear this hat, you're a racist. You support a certain party, you're a racist. You support a certain president, President Trump, you're a racist. That's all I hear. If you don't agree with people's radical, libtard, left-wing nut, views or their socialism, you're a racist. If you don't agree with, your borders being closed like every other country in the world is, you're a racist. I can go on and on and on because there was 3.5 years of this race card being used, overused, and where it's absurd. It's like, and that's what has brought racism back. Not this, okay? It has been the media, first and foremost. The media is the biggest culprit ever. Okay, mind you, because the media, they're the ones we get all our information from. Think about it. I get it from the media. All my information. Today, everything is on the internet or on the TV. Okay, so that's where we get it. That's where we get our knowledge. My researching, I've seen videos, I've seen media, I've seen, different kinds of information, and then I just use my common sense and my business sense and figure it out, myself. But that's who's to blame. You want to blame somebody? It's not President Trump. It's not the Republican Party. It's not even the Democratic Party. Okay? It's the media. The media is the one that is to blame. If you want to quarantine or you want to lock down or do away with something, let it be the media. The media is the culprit. The media is the one who is spreading the hate, the lies, the fake news. The media is bringing separation, segregation all over again. We were doing good. You have to admit it. Because back then, there was more rights and privilege and the blacks or the minorities, I know because I'm in business and I've seen black CEOs. Okay, that comes to mind, President Trump, his executive in his company and his son's companies is black, and she's a female. Okay, what a racist. And if I'm a racist or President Trump's a racist, we're pretty bad at it. Okay, because we don't hate blacks. I've got black friends. So does President Trump have black friends. I told you the celebrities are rubbing elbows, and he's the best guy in the world until he runs for president, and they realize, well, we can't control him, and he's going to ruin our whole thriving big business that the Democratic politicians have had, controlling the blacks and controlling the money and controlling the cities. But yeah, if President Trump and me and anyone else who wears it, we have to be the worst, at being or faking it as a racist, because we're not racist. This hat, it's not racist. It was made racist. Like I said, racism is taught, right? So who taught that this was racist? It wasn't President Trump, and President Trump wasn't thinking that. Someone in the media or the Democratic politicians of the party thought of it, and they ran with it. because America, they listen about racism. We don't like it. That's why it was abolished. Slavery. But to be honest with you, there's always going to be racism. Because as long as we have different races, you're going to have racism. Now, me, personally, I've told other people, yeah, I'm prejudiced. Because prejudice or being is being proud of your own race. I'm proud of my own race. This is what I was given. I can't be anything different. Okay, it's not my fault. You know, take it up with God. Good luck with that, though. But I didn't choose this race. It was chosen for me. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of my ancestors. I'm proud of my family and my loved ones who have gone before me, you know, and built a family, you know. But I don't hate, and that's what racism is. It's hatred, where you want to do bodily harm to someone because of their race, like they did back in the days. And like today, I don't like to put too much energy towards it or any attention because I think the media does that enough. But this thing that happened with this this crooked cop, you know, this bad cop, he had issues obviously, and there's word, who knows, I wasn't there, but that there was relations between the cop and George Floyd. They worked together back in the day. So who knows? This guy could have had a grudge, or is like, oh, I knew you when we worked together. You were whatever, you know, and I have the upper hand now or something. I don't know. Only he knows. But it was uncalled for. I don't care if it was black, if it was a white person, a red, blue, green, or yellow, or orange, or purple person. That shouldn't be done, you know. That was, in my opinion, first-degree murder. When I heard third-degree murder, I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Here comes the riots. Here comes the protesting, and sure enough, yeah, that's what happened. But it's I hope they reconsider, because third degree murder is like a slap on the hand or a slap on the wrist, and he'll maybe do jail time, you know, or some prison time, but you know, he took a life. He could have avoided it. Absolutely. It went on far too long for a helpless person, and that could have been any of us. And that's why I know most of America is up in arms right now and protesting, and some rioting or paid rioters. You know, gosh, there's so much I want to talk about, and I always want to keep it short. It just never happens. I'm sorry. But you guys watch 2-hour movies. You know, some of you, I know girls, read books, you know, for hours. Read, you know, chapters or finish books. I mean, this is something that needs to be said and needs to be heard. I'm just a normal American, or proud American citizen, but I don't like what's happening to our rights, you know. But I digress, and I go back to just a little bit of this video that we all watched, and it was taken way too far. It could have been avoided. I don't care about his past. I understand that he's not a good guy. Neither am I. Neither are you. Neither are any of us. We're all sinners, okay? The guy was trying to better his life, though. That's what's sad, because we'll never know We'll never know what God could do, in his life here on earth. But yeah, it's sad. It really is. I don't condone it. I understand the protesting. Protest just peacefully, like we used to. There'd be peaceful protests. You will get farther with a peaceful protest than you will riots. Because you are destroying people's businesses. You are destroying your own city. And guess who's going to have to pay for that? Taxpayers. You. But some of the rioters, they've been found, majority of them, are out of town. Of course they are. They're paid rioters. They're being bussed in. Some are being flown in. Compliments of George Soros and some other high political figures. One was a past president. One was wanting to run for president. I'm not going to name any names. You figure it out. But they're paid rioters. There was pamphlets. I've got video of some guy who was the only person, I give him a lot of credit, that he stood up and he said, yeah, I'm being paid by George Soros. You just go on georgesoros.com and you tell them you want to volunteer, as a rioter, and how much you want to be paid and how many days that you can be present, and then you have to go by these guidelines. You have to protest, and you have to make a scene or send a message, somehow. You bring just the rioting, part in it. So, but there's this guy, he said, yeah, I was even invited to have lunch with George Soros. But I've seen things, $200 a week. I'll be glad to show you the if it even matters. Because I've shown people proof and videos and that's fake. They don't believe me anyway. So why even try? I can only be, advocate or like a messenger. Try to be the informer. Keep people informed. That's what I try to do. So, but we got to stop the hate. You got to stop the racism. Stop using the word racism. And it will go away again. Okay? Just like these Antifa. All right, these paid protesters. These evil people that would kick someone right in the head when they're laying down on the ground. Or a female businesswoman just standing in front of her, outside her door of her business, just to protect it, and pleading to them, this is my business, please don't destroy it, please, and just pleading with them, begging with them. And then one guy just surprises her and just hits her in the face, just does a cheap shot to her, and then starts kicking her. And then, if that's not enough, some other guy comes with about a 10-foot, I would say at least 2x4, and bashing it, over, her head. That's on video. That's inhumane. That's hatred. But that's what they're paid for. That's what they're paid to do. To just keep the hate going, the racism, and the animosity, and the separation, and the riots. Just keep them going. But the one thing about Antifa, and if anyone doesn't know what Antifa stands for, it's Anti for America. Okay? In my opinion. I don't care what they call themselves, but they are anti for America. They're anti-America. Our views, our Constitution, our president, our flag, our Pledge of Allegiance, are, just our national anthem. Everything. They're anti for America. But what they don't realize, these riots, these senseless riots, they eventually just, go away. If you look at the past, um, what was it? Ferguson, Missouri, I think, when Obama was president, and he allowed the riots and he allowed the civil rights people to go there and spread hate and get people all upset and up in arms, and what happened? Yeah, there was destruction, and there was fires, and there was business looted, But the thing is, Antifa and the rioters, they evaporated like a fart in the wind. You know what I'm saying? So, you guys, it's kind of senseless what you're doing, rioting. Do the protesting, but, the rioting, it's uncalled for. And like I said, you, Antifa, and the rioters, and the hateful people, you're going to evaporate again like a fart in the wind. And that's all. That's all you guys are. You guys are like a fart in the wind. Useless. Okay? And you'll evaporate and you'll go away, and our country will flourish again and come together again and unite again, and we will build. We will build our country back, and anything you destroy. So it's pretty just senseless. Just protest peacefully, and don't be like a fart in the wind. I like that. Fart in the wind. But that's the only way I can describe it. But stop the hate, stop the racism. And I also wanted to do this video mostly to warn some of my Michigan friends. I know tomorrow for certain there's been flyers passed out, there's been pamphlets, there's been emails sent out, there's been posts that there's a lot of protesting that's going to be going on in the state of Michigan Saturday. And it's important. It's imperative that you guys just stay vigilant, stay aware. Don't think it's not going to happen in your backyard or neighborhood. I've heard that. Well, they're not coming in our neighborhood. Well, they've made it clear, and I'm sure you've probably seen some of the posts in that they're saying, go into the white, neighborhoods and send them a message. Saturday, right down Hall Road, which is a main artery in Macomb County, and there's businesses along both sides, all the way down Hall Road, where if they did get out of hand and they turned it into a riot, or George Soros's paid rioters, were showed up, that it could turn ugly and it could be devastating. And I hope and pray to God that doesn't happen. But we as American citizens have got to protect ourselves at any cost. I refuse to be a victim. Refuse, especially scum like that are like farts in the wind. I refuse to be a victim of that. So I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to protect my family. And there's also a Trump rally, road rally at the same day. It's going to be held in Marine City, I think it is, like down County Line and King Road, I think, around that area. And it's going to be interesting because there's going to be protests on Hall Road. And then I heard there's a protest in Port Huron that they say it's going to get real ugly. That's what they say or claim. But then I hear in Royal Oak, there's a protest going to be there. So, you don't know. But there's already been bricks that have been delivered. There's been, pictures of Hall Road and Shaner where bricks just appeared there, just like they have around, the country or in certain cities. So stay vigilant and don't be naive. It's the worst thing you can do. Be naive and just be like, it won't happen in my neighborhood. My neighborhood is far away from there, or my neighborhood is not even close to the city, and don't have that attitude. Have attitude of preparedness and awareness, and hopefully we can get rid of this ugliness soon and this racism. We will bounce back, and like I said, the way I've explained it so far tonight, and it makes sense, but they'll all evaporate like a fart in the wind, and hopefully months later it will be like Ferguson, Missouri. You didn't hear about it anymore, okay? It just evaporated like a fart in the wind. But thank you for listening to this long video. I know it's long. Take time, to just, I guess, separate it and listen to it little by little or something. Or like I said, you watch 2-hour movies. Some people watch movie after movie after movie. So I don't think that this is much different than a movie, or the time wise at least. But hope you guys learned something from this and understand where I'm coming from. But with the virus, with the racism, with this whole political agenda, with this election year, it's all just too coincidental, and it it all makes sense if you use your common sense, use your own brain. Don't rely on the fake news media and the puppeteers, like I said, who are controlling us. Just use your own common sense, your own conscience. That's what I do. But hope everybody stays safe and healthy. And I hope and pray we get through this sooner than later. And my heart goes out to the businesses that can't open up again, the people who have died, senselessly through these riots or this media virus. I just, my heart and prayers and thoughts go out to you. It's senseless. It shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't be happening. But we have the ability to put a stop to it, and we have that ability to not feed it, to not keep putting fuel on the fire, because that's how it will just die down and evaporate like a fart in the wind. Oh, I know. I just can't get that out of my mind now. But I digress, and I love you all. Okay, I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what political affiliation you are. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what nationality you are. Okay, I don't care. I love you. I respect you until you give me a reason not to. And usually my heart gets in the way, and I still will love you. just like us Christians and people who are supposed to be Christ-like are supposed to do. I'm not perfect. Don't put me on that pedestal. Some people make that mistake, and then I'm going to disappoint you. I'm going to let you down time and time again, because I am human. I am a sinner just like you. We are all sinners. But thank God that we have a Lord and Savior who sacrificed their own life and went through pain, and anguish and torture himself for us. So, God bless you all. Godspeed in all your lives and your families and this world, and especially the United States of America. And God bless President Donald J. Trump. Take care. And again, thank you for listening to this long video. But hopefully it was informative, and maybe you learned something from it. Maybe something you already knew, just validated what you were thinking, or, so be it. But take care. Love you guys. And God bless, and go your day rejoicing. Don't go your day rioting. It's not worth it, and it's not right. God bless. Bye-bye.